Final game of all-star action set to get underway. Starting lineups being introduced for the North and South men's team in the 2025 College Hockey South Men's All-Star Challenge, and all a part of the All-Star Challenge weekend. Welcome to everyone watching around the world. I'm Spencer Thompson alongside Brady Palmer. Eleanor Rothaus will join us ringside in a moment. Proud to be with you in Clarksville, Tennessee. Brady, a lot of great action with these two teams over the last couple of days, especially the skills challenges that you got to call pretty well, and it's a whole lot of fun stuff. And I know you joked about it may have been you felt like does Spencer hate me for assigning me on this one, but in truth though, with that matchup, it was really great to see their skills showcase yesterday.
It was really a lot of fun, and it turned out to be very natural and just a very conversational type of way to call a game. And it was so much fun to watch these guys, as you said, showcase their skills, to see the hardest shot, to see the creativity as they were on the breakaway challenge, and just to see that. I tell you, I'm most excited, though, for this game after our game Friday night with a 10-9 overtime win by the North. It was just a fantastic game. The speed, the skill, the way these guys played all game long, it was today it's just I'm even more excited to be here and see what these guys are able to pull off.
And I'm sure especially you're blistering with pride as the jury is still out on if Lyndon Palmer will go to graduate school and continue his playing career. But for him as a senior to have this as his final game of his undergraduate career has to be even special from your side.
Oh, it's fantastic. You know, we've been doing this for 16 years now, and we don't want to see it end. You know, it has to at some point. But if this is where it ends, this is the way that I would like to see it end. Just being recognized for his talents, as all of these other young men are, and just a special group of guys out here, and it's just a lot of fun. And this is what you want, and as a parent, to see your boys recognized, and not take anything away from the other kids that deserve to be here and just couldn't be here this weekend.
A lot of seniors on the ice here as well as we get into the next national anthem here in just a few moments.
Rise if you're able and remove your caps for the singing of our national anthem by Austin Peay State University graduate student, Tara Short.
One final time on the anthem for Kara Short. Took a little bit of a stoppage to get there. There were a lot of players and coaches that were starting to chirp a little bit there. And I mentioned in the first game when she got done with her anthem about said something to the effect of, trying to remember exactly on my phrase. Oh, yeah, I said I need vocal lessons from her because it's fantastic. I'm sure we could both take some tips on it heading into next year.
You know, I'm a vocalist myself. In fact, that's one of the reasons I came in on 2 wheels today. We had nobody else to lead singing at church this morning, so I was there to and to hear her start that song as high as she does. The first time I heard it, I thought, I hope this ends well, and boy, it sure did. What a fantastic job by Miss Short.
Doubles over to use her vocal cords and then is now going to take a whole bunch of photography throughout the weekend so all the players and coaches and CHS people can be able to relive the experience that's going to end in just about 2 hours. And we are underway in the men's scene finale of this All-Star Challenge weekend. And as this gets slung, and it looks like it was going to be gloved down for a moment, a little bit of a delayed whistle, but it's down. Kyle Meyer, the star from the University of Tampa, with the early stop.
Good opening effort there for the North to come in and start putting it on. North's weekend to lose on this game as they come in with a 6-point lead, up 8 to 3, I believe is the total. So I got a 5-point cushion coming into this game. And I'm sure that we'll explain how those points are going to work as the game goes along. But they're weekend to lose, and you know the South is going to give them everything that they can.
Yeah, this North team going to try to do the same thing. You mentioned a 10-9 game on Friday night that ended up in one of those kind of barn burners. Seems like the reverse in a sense of that. The games themselves have been good for the men's team. Their skills challenge, not as much flair or excitement to it as the women's side. And the reverse for the women's, where the games ended up being one-sided. Still some good action in those as the puck goes into the mesh with about 19 and running.
Yeah, you talked about the skills challenge. If you didn't get a chance to watch it yesterday, the breakaway challenge was one of the things everybody was kind of looking for. And honestly, I kind of thought that the guys were trying to attempt some things that maybe they didn't really have the skill set to do, thinking about how their players go. But before I get to the end of my point, we do want to talk about the point system. They will get 1 point for winning each period. If they can win the game in regulation, it's 3. If it's overtime win, they get 2. If it's a shootout win, you get 1, and the losing team picks up a point also as well. Shot, goodness. Looked like that got caught up right into the pads of Tyler Timoyan.
Yeah, right in his pads. He had to shake his skate to try and get it out there as it got in at an awkward angle. And we talked about the point system. And the North, by our tally, 8-2 is the lead right now for the men's side. So if should
be 8-3.
8-3.
Because they did get a point for winning each event in the skills competition yesterday, and the North came away with 4 wins and 2 for the South. I did want to mention, though, the breakout challenge for the women was fantastic. Oh, yeah. So creative, so much fun to watch. Go back and watch that if you have an opportunity. It is time well spent.
Daly with the shot there. All of the CHS All-Star Weekend action archived here on CHS YouTube channel, as will this game. If you're not watching it live, you already know that as you're watching this on an archive. As this goes in for a score. First goal of the game goes to the South. Looks like Penetrante may have gotten a piece of it, but a goal here to open things up, not even 2 minutes into the game.
That's wearing, I believe, it looked like a number 20. That's going to be Tim O'Connell, the 6-foot, 195-pound junior from Morristown, New Jersey, plays for Tampa, their Division I program. Just a real nice patient toe drag right in front. Got Timoyan to go down, lifted over his pads, and the South's on top 1-0, just the way they started Friday night.
Yeah, Penetrante, you saw in the replay, he was looking at it from the outside. He may have had a pass on it. We'll hear the official announcement on who may have gotten an assist on that in a moment. But Tim O'Connell on the season had a total of 9 goals, and that's a goal number 10 minus any other stats on here. First goal of the game scored, another deflection in front. This goes off of the stick of Sullivan for 2-0 for the South.
So in looking at the scoring, they did score O'Connell with the goal. The assist was from Jacob Penetrante. But as Spencer mentioned, already back up on top 2-0. And again, the way that they started the game Friday night.
Yeah, you're thinking Tyler Tamoyan here.
Yes.
Here on the, he's not on the ice right now, but it's coming up there. Had a great performance as Bailey scoops it out of the air, and the South will get back in possession. Kyle Nell on the bench saying, "Come on, he can't grab it out of the air." Here's a chance for Bailey one-on-one. He doesn't get it past. Great save there. May have held a little bit too long onto the puck, did Bailey, as he had a golden opportunity on the breakaway. As the North will set it back up, Bailey trying to sling it, and again, another save. Maybe 2 or 3 shots on there. Add another one, and another great save there by the extraordinary Kyle Meyer. They'll sling this back around just outside. Reniger will go inside for the shot. Another save, Meyer. DeMumbrum ladle it forward. Try to get a fight for it with the defense. DeMumbrum around the boards. Tried to sling it back around to Ogle as it's still in possession of the North and back out to the blue line. Here goes Flaherty with the shot. Goes off the pad of Meyer.
So far, good work by Meyer as he's stopped a couple of really high danger shots. And do want to take just a second. Second goal of the game for the South, scored by number 14, Carter Sullivan. Assist being given to number 22, Trace Cowart.
You have to make sure you credit those as well. Game sheet not of a luxury here, especially with it being an all-star game.
Unfortunately, yes.
Which would be great if we had that on standby. But Palmer in the face-off zone loses the puck, and it goes back. And that was Basher as this goes off the pad of Ryan. Lyndon Palmer trying to get a goal early with the shot from distance. As this goes off the pads and back into the possession of the South. Danny Griffin will try to take this back down, and the North would possess it. Inside of the neutral zone, trying to squeak it forward there looked like it was Gulata. As this goes back, Siciliano intercepting it in the middle, looking for an angle on the outside, in and out of the glove of Meyer. And that's the kind of shots that you've seen from Siciliano all season long.
Siciliano, great silky hands. And a good grinder player, but also can score from the blue line. He played from the defensive line all year long last year and had a ton of points from there too. So he's just a dangerous threat anytime.
A poke for it from the North's goaltender, trying to keep it out there. In net for him is Tyler Tamoyan, the starting goaltender from Pennsylvania for South Carolina. The official waving off offside there. Looked like the puck may have clearly gone over the blue line, but makes the call there.
It's a friendly game.
Oh, yeah. Not one of those high stakes. We got no NHL contracts being given out in this one.
Although on the line, it is important to mention that there will be an all-star of the All-Stars games that will be picked to take a trip to Sweden in January. Mm-hmm. And so these guys out here looking to try and get a spot on that team, all expenses paid to go to Sweden and play hockey there.
Yeah, the CHS had that Europe tour this past January as well. A lot of the players here on the ice for the men's side really enjoyed that, as Kusia tried to go on the backside with the shot and couldn't get it to land. As this goes back out to the neutral zone, and in pursuit, Banis. Banis with Dietz in the area trying to go around and tripped on his skates. May have looked like he was trying to sell a trip there as his shot goes high and wide. Banis trying to send it in.
Going to be hard-pressed to get a penalty in a game like this. No penalties called on Friday night.
Yeah, we saw, I think, one penalty in the women's game, so it's very much let the players play. Banis on the left side will get it back over to Riggins. Riggins trying to sling through the defense. Kusia with the interception, trying to get forward. And another interception on his own there from Skove. Skove back in around the circle. Send it back, and Banis with the shot. Looks like Meyer hit off of the pad. This will be shoveled back into the neutral zone and possessed by Banis. He'll send it back. Spranklin Franklin gets swiped at by Dietz. Cavallero trying to get it up to Dietz. And this will go back along the boards. Vanis in the area. Going for a shot, Cavallero. This bounces off of the pads of Tamoyan.
Nice save by Tamoyan. Quick reflexes.
It's what we've been accustomed to seeing all season long from Tamoyan. He's been incredible for South Carolina throughout his time this season, having 91.1% on his saves. As trying to go in front there was the defense of the South, and pursuing it back is the same man who got it. Marshall, he's got a potential breakaway. Marshall with the shot and the pass forward, they score. A great setup to Michael Wool to get the South a 3-0 lead.
Teammates there teaming up there as Marshall coming down the right side of the slot. Michael Wool is, like I said, his teammate screaming up the other side. Nice little pass over to quick one-timer in, and now we're in the 3-0 lead.
Well, for the first time today, after this 3-0 lead has gone out for the South, let's hand it down to the third member of our crew, Eleanor Rodhouse. Ellie?
We're closing out the College Hockey South All-Star Weekend here in Clarksville, Tennessee, with the second matchup between these two men's teams. The first game that took place on Friday night seemed to get a little bit scrappy and intense, but based on what I've seen and heard from both benches, this game is going to be all good fun. After the skills competition that took place yesterday afternoon, the points race between these two teams is closer than ever, so we're bound to see some great hockey today.
Yeah, and Ellie was right. It's a lot closer than the women's side where it was all decided, and looking at an 8-3 difference. So maybe if they can get a victory in a shootout, it could get closer to up to its maximum of 7 points. Maybe they do some sort of bout or winner-take-all thing or something like that as we get back to action here. This goes off of the pad of Tamoyan on a shot. Marshall trying to weave its way through as Daly will get it back. There's Callan Daly for Auburn on the right wing. Looks forward on the pass and the shot that goes wide and outside. A good attempt there. Looked like it was Tyler Isles who took the shot off. Penetrante on the right side of the circle, looking to weave it around Cooper. As he's going to take it around down to the middle. Looks like Wool was in the area. As this men's South team is trying to keep all the pressure on for the North in this first period.
Finally seeing the North able to get things out. A lot of guys bunching up over there down in the in their own zone. When you're on the North, they gotta have to spread out and take away those opportunities by the South that they've been getting all game long.
Cooper from the Ice Falls will pass it over to the other side, and he'll get it back at the blue line. Cooper trying to keep it in. Took it in stride with the pass as this goes back in front, looking to weave it through traffic. A dangerous chance as this will find its way inside for a goal. Well, one official looked like he was waving off the signal there. One said goal. Not a lot of reaction there from the players that we saw from the North, and it's now the first goal for the North.
It certainly looks like that could have been Bailey. It does go in, absolutely, no question. They believe that's going to be Bailey, which if that's the case, I know he had a hat trick, may have had 4 goals Friday night, so he's keeping up his scoring ways.
And we'll get the official announcement on that, too, in a moment. But this is the one thing that shocked me at times, where you've had these teams where they've scored a goal and not really reacting, just staying stoic and poised. And I guess that's testament to that, with them being down 3-1.
One thing I have noticed, too, is there's not nearly as much pushing and shoving going on in front of the net here. It's a testament to the friendly nature of these games.
Cowart back to Israel. One of the stars from Florida Atlantic takes a shot on Tamoyan, who will just glove it down. Also no music either. We don't have any major entertaining stuff here in the music side. Man, got to pump up the jams. Gotta You were right on that. Ryan Bailey with the goal. Getz and Cooper on the assist.
So that's a Georgia player getting 2 assists from some UT players. The only time that you're going to see them cooperating all year long.
I think it was our colleague Charlie Serafian who said it in one of the women's skills challenge. As this gets passed over, a shot in front goes the other side from Ogle. But he said it on their lineup formation of all of them rushing the net, the only time SEC players would be bunched in unison. As Fontaine tries to send it forward. He'll sling it back around to set up the offensive play for the South, and a shot that goes wide there. A good chance from Ryan Andrews. A good note we just got from our producer, James Shannon. Perfect 100% on the shots that the North are taking. They've only had or actually, I beg your pardon, that's the South having the 3 shots on net. Perfect on that. 6 shots and only 1 goal for the North as another shot goes off and wide. Attempted there from another one of the Middle Tennessee players in Siciliano. Here's Owens. We'll go back along the wing. Owens will try to feed it in front for a shot. This skips up high. Chase for it by Palmer. Bayshore send it back to the other way. Goes past Palmer. O'Connell trying to weave it through. A good stick check by Flaherty as Bayshore will get it back.
One thing that is so impressive with watching is just how fast the action is and the skill that these guys have. Of course, you kind of expect that with a goal scored there off the shot. I believe that was from O'Connell. But the skill set that the guys have is just crazy because you expect that from the All-Stars.
Yeah, you see on the replay here the shot that went up. Again, not as much reaction even from the fans. Some of them in disbelief at some of these goals too, which speaks a testament to what you were talking about with the amount of skill we're seeing here.
So Caleb Owens going to be given credit for that goal.
It's the sophomore from the Florida Atlantic team out of Fort Myers. As this goes back, Siciliano tries to go top shelf, goes into the mesh.
Scored by number 8, Caleb Owen. Assisted by number 44, Daniel Griffin. That's Owen.
So Daniel Griffin going to be given the primary assist there. Pretty good numbers there by Caleb Owens for Florida Atlantic. 19 goals, 23 assists, 42 points on the season. Nothing to sneeze at there.
One of the few times you'll see Tampa and Florida Atlantic assisting each other, especially with that friendly rivalry they have in both the D1 and D2 scene for College Hockey South. Palmer will pursue it. He'll look around and get it back over between the circles. This gets back into the possession of Flaherty. Brendan Flaherty trying to get some speed. Couldn't get it on the last touch. Some good defensive positioning by O'Connell. Flaherty gets the puck back, whiffs on the shot. It back over to Palmer on the outside of the circle. And a shot from Siciliano goes off of the pads of the South's goaltender.
Nice sliding save there by Kyle Meyer to pick that up. Real quick release there by Siciliano.
And a breakaway here. Kusia trying to get it on the shot. Another great save there from Tamoyan.
Tamoyan saved their bacon.
Maybe the North need to try to have the South not save their own bacon, as Siciliano will try to dump this back in, get scooped up, and will send down into the neutral zone.
Seeing that Kyle Nell, I don't know if this is his game plan, but he has a lot of players back cherry picking, and it at least seems to be working, as now we have the 5th goal of the period scored against.
Yeah, that was Israel who got it in. Pass on the last second there. Great setup.
It was a very nice setup, and all that set up by, like I mentioned, the guy playing high. They had him picked up, but they've been feeding them and then getting the rush. Coming in, a nice pass over to Israel through the slot as he came in on the backside of that rush.
And a goal immediately responded to. That's Carson Skov from South Carolina.
Well, that's exactly the way that you need to respond in a situation like that. You're down 5-1. You just need to start putting up some points and starting to build momentum. You have to kind of maybe put this period past you. You got 2 more. You pick up at least 1 point in either one of those periods, and you should be able to clinch this thing for your squad. So you just got to make things happen. Tyler Skov going to try and do it again.
Winning it off with a face-off with another shot that skips away. Another fired shot trying to go in, this South team. And Israel with the score, assisted by a couple of players there, which we'll credit that in a second, as Lucia trying to go for a shot and follow up a good interception by Riggins to prevent the one-timer.
Grant Dietz from the University of South Florida getting the primary assist. Secondary assist by Christian Cuccia from the Florida Atlantic D3 program.
Kyle Meyer scoops it out of play. 6:01 left to go in this opening period. 5-2 lead. I know we said that we were hoping it was going to be a high-scoring game. Maybe not the scoring that we're seeing right now,
Yes.
but sure, it'll probably get even as things go along.
North All-Star second goal of the game, scored by number 28, Carson Scove. Assisted by
Scoves scoring on that.
John
Riggins on the assist.
from Riggins at 13.
Here goes Wool. Wool with the shot that goes off the pads of Tamoyan. Send this back Riggins into the neutral zone. Trying to send this back up. Spranklin trying to swat for it there. Marshall along the boards. And the South will clear it back out. Penetrante trying to set it up here with some fancy stick work. Couldn't get the shot to go off, but a chance in front. Wool. Maybe got a deflection there. Could have gotten off the pad of Tamoyan. Back up opportunity here for the North. Penetrante with the swipe. Send this back along the boards. Spranklin will go for the shot. It gets swallowed up. Marshall with the poke. Right wing, Marshall.
Had his line mate coming with him, one he wanted to hit him.
One-timer, tried to get the deflection in front, and they do. Wool will bank it in from O'Connell's shot from the blue line, and the South have got another goal on the board to make it 6-2.
Nice feed in there as Marshall again trying to find Wool. Sees O'Connell streaking in from his change. O'Connell throws it on, and a nice rebound. Pick up garbage goals are what win games in an awful lot of situations. And Michael Wool going to pick up his second goal of the game. Off of that, I think you're going to have O'Connell with the primary and Marshall with the secondary assist. We'll see if that's how they score that, but I don't see how it could go any other way.
Isles with the pass back, trying to get it over into the zone, and he does with his teammate helping in Wool. This will go back up Penetrante. That has an unfortunate skip along the boards. As now there are numbers, a 4-on-2 here for the North. Flaherty in front of the net along several other players trying to crash. And some good stick work there from the defense. That was O'Connell who prevented the one-timer. Back up into the neutral zone. It's Wool. He's got a chance on the outside. Try to get it past Reniger as Frazier will set it back. Back up Daly. Trying to weave it around. Daly loses the puck, but it's dumped back. Frazier trying to go in for the shot. It goes wide.
One of those you like to see him pull the trigger just a little bit quicker. Don't give the goaltender time to set up.
This goes all the way down the ice from the neutral zone. No icing, of course, on that. As Valesi will have it back. Fontaine pass it over to O'Connell outside of his reach. The other side of the circle there as Tamoyan gets a save off of his pad. Back up, quick rush here attempted by the North, but it's picked up from the South's Valesi. Valesi around the backside of the net. Another fight for it and just swallowed up by several red jerseys. Somehow it still ends up in the possession of the South. Sullivan pursuing it there. Fontaine. Sling it back around. Sullivan in pursuit. Isles will keep it in possession for the North.
I've seen Coach J.J. Murray way more animated in situations like this. It may be just that it's an all-star game that he's okay with it. But I've seen him losing his marbles over on the bench when games have gone this way.
Gets along the boards. About 2.5 left to go here in this first period. A 4-point lead in favor of the South.
That 4-point lead important because that's an extra point on the weekend for the team that comes away with a 4-point lead. Or 4-point victory, I should say.
Yep, down by 5 points right now, trying to do all they can. As this goes for a shot and will go high and above the mesh. We were mentioning how funny it is with this rink. They have the mesh all the way around except on the benches and gets enough height to even go over it. I think it went to the Zamboni, actually.
It did, yes. You know, it's one of those, got to be a double-edged sword for a goaltender. I was thinking about Tyler Tamoyan and his, his frustration with the 6 goals let in. To be chosen as one of the best goaltenders in the league, but then have to go again and play against 18 of the best goal scorers in the league.
Back inside of the north zone, this offense for the South trying to fire another one in front there. Couldn't get it fired off there, Caleb Owens. DeMumbrum let back to Bailey. Bailey trying to weave it around. Goes in for a shot, and it goes behind the net. Bailey back with the puck. Send it back over to the blue line, looking for the setup and feed through. It gets swallowed. Good chance for Umpatillo.
Nice deflection there by DeMumbrum right down, but easily played there by goaltender Kyle Myers. Kyle Myers with a .264 goals against, .916 save percentage. Pretty impressive on the season.
24-year-old previously with New England College in the NCAA Division III scene for ice hockey.
Mind you to stay tuned right after we're done, as we're going to get an interview with Michael Wohl. Know you'll want to tune into that at the buzzer.
Eleanor Rodhouse getting interviews for us all game long. David Israel lets it back. Basher over to Cowart. About 53 minutes left in regulation. Cowart trying to fire it on. It's patted away. Chance here for Israel.
I think you meant seconds.
Oh, did I say minutes on there? It's been, yeah. That'd be fun. You know, that'd be funny. I know it's an all-star game. It's total of 60 minutes in the period there. Cowart with a shot, another padded save away. Israel. Now go. Basher tried to ladle it backwards. Bounce along. 15 ticks left on the clock. Trying to go up for a shot from the north. Couldn't weave it around. A great opportunity there from Ogle. Another shot attempt on net goes off the pad of Meyer, as this should take us to the end of the first period.
That was an excellent save because they had a man set up right in the slot. Be easy one-timer in, but Meyer getting his pad or his stick out there saved that, and will preserve that 4-goal lead for the South as they go in at the end of the first period.
Yeah, all the players heading out on the ice, they're going to try to get these things situated. And again, we're going to get Michael Wohl taking some time aside to talk with our ringside reporter, and Eleanor Rodhouse is on standby with Michael Wohl.
I'm here with Michael from the South team. Michael, it seems like you guys are having a lot of fun out there so far. Can you tell me a little bit about what the mindset you guys had going into this game was like?
Yeah, you know, everyone's season's done. I think we're just having fun. Yeah, I don't know, like, not much structure to it, just playing hard, having fun, shooting, whatever.
How much fun has it been for you to come out here this weekend and, you know, be with your buddies and just play with all these players that you've played against this season, and what's that been like for you?
It's been a blast. I know most of the guys. A lot of us were here last year as well, so it's a lot of fun playing against some of my buddies on the other team and playing with guys who I don't usually see. So
that's great to hear. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.
Good chance to talk with Michael and get some other players throughout the evening as well, or the afternoon, I should say. 6-2, South leading over the North. We'll be back in about 11 minutes for the middle frame to commence. Started the second period in this final event for the 2025 College Hockey South All-Star Challenge Weekend. Game number 2 between these men's teams of North and South. Score of 6-2 in favor of players in the blue jerseys in the South. As we get into the remainder of this contest, I got a chance.
Hockey South. Could you tell me a little bit about your roles and responsibilities within College Hockey South?
Yeah, well, my main title is head editor of the website, so anything that goes up on there runs through me, I guess. But I'm kind of a jack of all trades, do bunch of different things. Helping game ops. Obviously, I'm running the scoreboard today and help with social media. So a whole bunch of stuff, basically.
Sounds like you have a pretty fun job. Thank you so much.
Well, speaking of running the scoreboard, we're about at 15:45 left to go in the second period as that shot goes high into the mesh. Another attempt there from Brady Bayshire.
Way to get the goal call to find out who has the assists on the goal there by John Riggins. But right now that gives the North the lead in this first period. They need to hold on to that. That puts them in a pretty good position to come away with a win, but there's always a lot of hockey left to play.
I do want to say one thing about Danny Baum. He does a whole lot of things with College Hockey South. Very humble guy and very much downplayed a lot of stuff he does. We've been on a lot of trips. Spranklin gets it in and scores inside of the top shelf, maybe off a deflection there from Silliman. And another great goal for the North as they try to fight back in this game at a 6-4 scoreline.
Good feed in there by number 28. That's going to come off Carson Scove, who got the assist on the first goal by Riggins. So Scove helping to really put the North on top here in the second period.
Dietz trying to get a quick response from the South as that gets saved. But to finish that thought on Danny Baum, very hard worker for College Hockey South, does a lot of things behind the scenes and also did a lot for AAU this year on writing and social media side. One of the best in the industry.
Does a fantastic job. And we talked a little bit about the women's breakaway challenge. There's quite a few clips on the Facebook page by College Hockey South. You can go pick those up and watch them there if you can't get all the way through the CHS feed on YouTube.
Another shot that goes high and wide. O'Connell tried to send that on net. Griffin will dump it in, trying to go for a backhanded shot there, O'Connell. It gets almost swallowed up, but the play will continue. DeMumbrum.
Got 3-on-1 coming. Boy, good defensive play there by Dietz.
As this gets sent into DeMumbrum, will try to shoot it there. And he gets it in for another goal.
That assist going to be Ryan Bailey, so DeMumbrum going to get his first goal of the tournament here off the nice feed from Bailey.
Yeah, and after that great defensive stick work you were talking about, just ended up being for nothing. Not his fault that that goal went in, certainly, but that was great defensive stick work.
Well, he didn't have any support from, I think they may have been in a change. Didn't have any support from his team, but Dietz is only one man. College Hockey South D2 Player of the Year, and a very talented kid, but you got 2 or 3-on-1, it's kind of hard to perform like that.
2-0 lead in this period.
3-0, yeah.
3-0 lead in this period for the North. As when you're looking at the points metrics for teams that are winning in each of these periods, again coming back to somewhat down in the wire here. If I'm not mistaken, the South won that last period.
They did.
And so they've got point number 4 if our tally is correct. So actually getting a little bit closer as it's now 8-4 on the points metric as there's another goal that goes inside. 3-1 on the period score. Looks like Israel banked it in.
And I think Testino in a regulation game would argue that there was some goaltender interference there, but you're not going to get that in today's game, and that's all right.
Israel watched that one go in, celebrated from distance, and now you've got a 3-1 score in this second period in terms of what's been scored thus far, not even 7 minutes in, and now it is 6-5 in favor of the South.
Brendan Ogle skating in, good look there. Nice turn away by Silliman.
Ogle goes over, Penetrante in possession. South will try to reset. No changes for either side. One of the few times you see all the players on the benches sitting down. I say that as one South player just stood up, and that was Michael Wohl trying to get a shot on net. Flaherty
49.
Flaherty trying to go for a rocket of a shot. It does go off of the goaltender's shoulder pad, and the South will get it back in possession. Silliman with a good save.
A lot more scoring opportunities by the South as they are playing high. And Coach Kyle Nell seeing some, maybe some slowness for the team. Boy, it sure looked offside there, but they're going to let it play. The puck goes into the netting. But Kyle Nelson maybe seeing some weaknesses in the North's ability to navigate up and down the ice and playing some guys high. That last great save there as Michael Wohl was playing up high, got hit in stride and off to the races. Nice save there by Ryan Testino. But speaking of Michael Wohl, he is being credited with the first goal of the second period for the South with another assist by number 19, Will Marshall. So that is a hat trick for Michael Wohl.
Siciliano trying to go in for a shot, a follow-up on the pass opportunity there to Gulata. Another one of those Division III players that are here in this scene. Mostly Division I on both sides of the teams, but good to see D2 and D3 as well getting into the mix, especially when you consider the seasons that Florida Atlantic and Middle Tennessee had. They get to face off against each other in this All-Star game. As Palmer will try to possess it on the backside as puck will be wedged between the boards and Silliman's pad.
One of the testaments to the abilities of these young men is that as you think about it, some of them having to play positions they're not used to. Most notably, I pick up on it because Lyndon Palmer, a winger, playing center all weekend. But, you know, their ability to step up and play something they're not familiar with and do it ably.
Sent in off of the pads. A follow-up shot is a score. Siciliano finds it in the back of the net.
Well, Matty picking up, I think, his first goal of the weekend. 2 goals so far by MTSU players. And getting on the board for the first time this weekend. And a great goal there by Matt Siciliano in great positioning.
Siciliano banks it in. Valesi will get back possession. Chance for the South to try and get a quick burst of speed. Wraparound attempt on the pass. Swallowed up by the North defense. Good positioning there from one of the North players. And we got a whistle for an offside. 11:36 left to go in this second period. We got a 7-6 lead for the South right now, as South really need to try and open things up here in the second period to give themselves a chance. They're down by 4 points overall in the score, and certainly a point over to the North would, for all intents and purposes, clinch it for them, as Sullivan will try to weave this around. Isles back with the puck. There's a let back on the pass and scooped up here. Fontaine in front trying to go for the shot. Did he bank it in?
What a save.
No, he did not. I thought at first you were waiting for the signal from the official, but a great save.
Testino right there with his stick on the ice, pads flapping back and forth, and doing a great job of being patient and not committing until the puck was on him. And a great save. I do want to take a second to say Siciliano takes a feed from his teammate Lyndon Palmer, and James Getz going to get the secondary assist on the 6th goal of the game so far for the North.
Griffin has to weave it around here. Basher, right side. Back over. Basher with a slap shot, goes off the save pad. Another 11:15 left here. Isles with a quick pursuit, burst, and it's gloved down by Silliman.
You have to sit there and think from a strategy standpoint with the show that Rocco Bruno put on yesterday. The North going to have to pick up as many points again. And nothing against Michael Silliman, but Rocco Bruno absolutely dialed in, and we played 3 games against him, and he's just an absolutely phenomenal goaltender. So you have to kind of think we're going to have to get as many points as much as we can get out of this period, see if we can exploit Silliman any more than we can. I say we. I'm pulling for the North simply because my son's on that team, but I know I'm supposed to be neutral. But I'm just thinking about it from a strategic standpoint as well. I'll be quiet now.
Well, if you're certainly a Middle Tennessee fan, you're hoping that as well. And you're right about Rocco Bruno and how great of a goaltender he has been for Florida Atlantic. And he's just a sophomore this year too. Give him a couple more years to just warm up, as Owens will try to get a shot off, and it's off of the stick there of Banas. Back over to Callan Daly with the pass off and the shot. And trying to get it there on that was Connor Frazier, the junior from Tennessee.
Silliman with the second shot to his face mask so far. Not missing a lick, though.
Andrews back past the blue line. He's sent it back around over from the circle. And it looked like a player tripped on his own skates as Israel just looks on for the puck being taken down quickly by Daly. Callan Daly looking inside and a shot that goes off of Silliman. And a chance here for the South to take it back down the length of the ice.
Daly had Frazier coming up the far side. If he tossed that about a half a second sooner, might have had a better opportunity. It's easy for me to say standing up here, though.
Past the halfway point in the second period. Spranklin will get a stick on the puck to prevent the icing from being called. Cowart. Israel. Send this back, and a good swipe there for the North, trying to get Spranklin there, and a great swipe on the other side there by the South as Dietz will shovel this back to Cavallero.
Nice play there by Trace Cowart as they had a really high danger situation after the pickpocket by Dietz. I believe that too, but nonetheless, it's a great play there by Cowart.
Riggins. Scove. Got several players trying to get it back around as Flaherty. Send this back. Riggins will lose possession of the puck. Tried to be too fancy with it. Right side trying to weave through and gets wedged into the boards, losing his stick there. That was Grant Dietz. Several players kind of having a laugh about it as O'Connell go back at a chance for the North on the back door. They score.
4-on-1. There was absolutely no chance that Silliman had on that one as the South just kind of gave up on the play. And it makes you wonder if maybe they took a trip to Nashville during the intermission. Nice work there as a pass across and right there in the near slot. Easy one-timer to take it home. And we have a tie hockey game.
I don't know if you could get to Nashville that quick in the intermission.
I don't know. You haven't seen me drive. You should have seen me driving trying to get here on time.
Bet you James Shannon would probably have gotten there in time. Cavallero will try to possess the puck in the North section. Back over Grant Dietz.
So Brendan Flaherty from South Carolina, defenseman, skating up. Only 9 goals, 14 assists on the season, but in great position. Gets the feed from Mitchell Spranklin to tie the game.
We'll try to send this back along the boards. Griffin over in the area of Spranklin. Riggins will look on as it gets passed back and forth between Garcia and Cavallero. As this goes back to Dietz. He'll switch it. Cavallero try to shovel it back. Cavallero send back over. South trying to set up the play here, and it's sticked away. Great save there.
You notice that the speed of the game has slowed down a little bit. Earlier on the other side, I noticed that the North was running a play almost like a umbrella from a power play, just slowing the things down and moving puck. We're seeing the same thing down on the other end.
Spranklin gets a stick possession of it, tries to go forward on the shot, and it's good stick check there from Silliman. Like a little fight for the puck in front of the bench. They held it there to prevent a too many men on the ice penalty.
It'd be hard-pressed to see them pick up a penalty like that in this game.
Benajante trying to get a shot past the goaltender after he passed it over to Marshall. Couldn't get it on. Great save again by, looked like Testino.
I think it's interesting that they've gone with just a 2-man referee crew in this game. They at least had 2 referees and a linesman for Friday night's game. Don't think that there's been any change in quality in the play. Just for a game that's this fast to only have 2 guys on the ice seems odd to me.
Yeah, they had 3 officials for the men's game on Friday night as it's iced 5:54 left to go in this second period. They had 2 officials for the women's game, which has been standard for most of the regular season games. They had the championship for AAU, 4 officials on the ice, but at least for the men's game, you're right in terms of the amount of speed and everything. 3 teams on the ice, and that third team doesn't get a line change.
Exactly. And so these guys have to skate a lot more as they're having to go from red line to far blue line and back. So credit them.
Trying to set up to Patillo. Let's get back out. Wool has a chance with a 3-on-2. Wool, let back. Penetrante with the shot. Follow-up looking through. They score.
Oh, I thought it got by, but Testino's slow to get up, but that makes a lot of sense as Will Marshall going to pick up and have his first goal of the game, 4th point of the night or the afternoon so far, as Marshall with a goal and 3 assists so far. So Southern Florida really having a great game today.
So many of the Division II teams in College Hockey South being based in the Sunshine State. Not a surprise that you see several of those Division II, Division I teams from Florida all sprinkled throughout these all-star teams. Israel will get back to it. Cowart with the shot. South trying to rein it in again. I believe that's 3-2 on the score line in favor of the North in this period.
I've got 5-2.
5-2, right. Here's another shot attempted for Sullivan. Did he bank it in there? He did.
So on that last goal, I do want to mention Will Marshall did take it from his teammate. We talked about what a great weekend they're having, but Michael Wolf from Florida Southern also at the primary assist, and Jacob Penetrante from Tampa getting the secondary assist. That goal scored by Carter Sullivan, a defenseman from the Division III South Florida team. 10 goals, 10 assists on the season.
Siciliano trying to get a quick burst of speed as this goes back to Gulata in the area. Reniger will shovel it back to Siciliano. Siciliano from the blue circle, the red circle I should say. This goes back and into the mesh as this goes off of the North's player and Lyndon Palmer.
Nicholas Fontaine being given the primary assist on Sullivan's goal, so his first point of the game. Nicholas Fontaine from Tampa's D1 program. 5'10", 170-pound freshman from Bedford, New Hampshire, played in the New Hampshire EHL Avalanche.
Well, Leslie got a good shot on net there and couldn't get the follow-up. Flaherty will send it out. Siciliano on a breakaway. Yes, sir!
That giving Kyle Nell a little taste of his own medicine as Matt Siciliano cherry-picking broke loose and got the nice feed. Coming in, I believe that might have been from Gulata. We'll find out. But nonetheless, Siciliano picking up his second goal of the game. And we're back to within 1.
Our camera operator, Kate Aitchison, having a lot of fun singing next to us with the music being played here in the PA system as we got a 9-8 lead for the South over the North. Siciliano with the pass back, trying to set up another chance here with a shot that may have gone off of the goaltender pad there in Silliman. As this goes back in front, gets sticked away by the South defender. As here goes Palmer. Palmer with the pass off to his teammate Siciliano. This gets scooped out by Silliman. If I'm not mistaken, Palmer has not had a goal in this All-Star weekend. Or did he have one on Friday?
He had one Friday. I believe it may have been the tying goal to take him to overtime. It was either at number 8 or number 9, but he's been kind of all over the place, but he did have one goal there. I do want to say that the goal from Matt Siciliano assist was Brendan Flaherty, defenseman from South Carolina.
Flaherty, one of those other players that had a standout performance on day 2 of the Veterans Cup for College Hockey South back in November between him and Callan Daly. Both these players very much involved with puck possession in these last 2 All-Star games.
I already know that MTSU will be participating in the Veterans Cup next season, along with, I believe, is it Auburn, Alabama, and South Carolina?
Sounds about right.
Those are the other 3. So one D2 team playing against the other D1 teams. You know what MTSU's goal is going to be.
They did that last year with the University of Alabama Huntsville, were the D2 team in that Veterans Cup last year. And Middle Tennessee very much looking like a team that in the next couple of years, as this shot goes on and almost found its way in, great work there from Basher.
A great save by Testino as well.
Wouldn't be surprised if Middle Tennessee makes the move up to Division I sooner than later as Siciliano's shot gets fended away.
I think that would be a goal. I think they're just looking to have a more proven recruiting funnel, getting players in.
Coward from the circle will pass this back off. Basher, Palmer will backward pass it. Here's Isles from the Vols. The Ice Vols player, Isles, passes it off. Siciliano trying to tech back. May have just wanted to settle for a one-timer there as Isles will fire this off. Goes along the boards. Patillo.
Glad to see Patillo out here, unable to participate in the skills challenge yesterday. We kind of got the impression that maybe he was not going to be able to play today, but glad to see him out here and participating.
That was a dangerous pass attempt by Patillo that almost ended up in a goal as the North will get it back over on the other side. Frazier try to pursue this here. Siciliano swiped that out of thin air and gives the North an opportunity. Isles trying to weave around this defense. Isles with the backward pass gets it right to the south, but Siciliano sniped that out of the air as Israel will go up to go for a shot that goes off the glove of Testino. Right side, trying to go for the pass, they score. Another goal there for the South. Christian Cusia seals it on the back door.
So, again, things slow down a little bit, and Testino getting out of position, and North allowed Cusia to skate right up on the near slot, and had a nice, easy one-timer in to stretch the lead 10-8. Get that lead up by 2. It's kind of reminiscent a little bit to me of yesterday's or Friday's game where the South dominated the first period. The North North dominated the second period, and then the third period was just back and forth the entire time. Should shape up to be a fun third period.
We're already almost up to the exact same score it was on Friday night, just 1 goal short of a combined 19 goals between these All-Stars as that shot gets slapped in at the 23-second mark. Banis tries to get it back over to Isles. This will end up past the blue line, and here goes Patillo and company, a 3-on-1, going for the pass intended for Patillo. Did not get the angle.
Goal by Cusia, assisted by David Israel and number 22, Trace Cowards.
Trante shot from Wool gets swallowed up by the defense, and that'll take us to the end of this second period. And score of 10-8 in favor of the South right now as we head into the third. And from what we're being told, they are just going to go right into the third. No long intermission. Just only about 3 minutes on the intermission side here. And we'll step aside. We'll be right back in about 3 minutes here for the remainder of this All-Star. A lot of great fans got to turn out here in Clarksville as say hello, Spencer Thompson, Brady Palmer, Eleanor Rodhouse on the other side of the camera, as well as James Shannon, our producer, director, Eli Cornett. Also got Kate Aitchison, top camera here, Chloe Rigdon on our close-up cam as well. Got to give a shout-out as well to Charlie Serafian as well as his friend John for the help they gave us in the previous 2 days as well. It's been a lot of fun covering this final event for the All-Star Game. A lot of fun throughout this day, and, you know, we get to go home after this. We got to pack up stuff, but we get to go. Maybe not you as much on the pack-up side, but you get to at least go home. By the way, sorry to break the fourth wall. Lift that camera up. You're blocked by the scoreboard there. You have to crouch down and everything and all that. So James also saying it's also crooked, but a lot of fun, a lot of excitement. James,
I'm breaking the fifth wall. This camera is crooked.
Oh, James. But it's been a lot of fun this weekend. Comes down to one more period, and, you know, it's a good conclusion to the College Hockey South season.
I tell you what, I've had so much fun being a part of College Hockey South. The broadcast started at the conference tournament, and we're apparently being told to focus the thing. Use the ring in the front is what I'm being told. But being able to be a part of the College Hockey South, the conference tournament now here at the All-Star Game. Appreciate that opportunity, Spencer. I appreciate your trust in putting me to deliver what I can to this group, and it's just been a lot of fun. Appreciate College Hockey South and the opportunities that we've gotten.
It all starts with Kyle now putting his trust in all of us. Crazy bunch as they have a whistle here for a stoppage. Rule the high sticking there. 21 seconds left to go, or 21 seconds taken off of the clock here in this final frame of All-Star Weekend.
Noticed a few seconds tick off of that clock
just
after
a little
the
bit.
Whistle. Somebody must have an appointment or a reservation for lunch.
Well, it'd be a late lunch reservation, that's for sure, if we're in that point.
Early dinner, something like that.
You ever done a reservation for like 3 o'clock in the afternoon?
You don't usually need them, I guess.
Yeah, if maybe you're sleeping in until brunch at 10:30, something like that. But O'Connell will take this slap shot from distance. Couldn't get the redirect from O'Connell.
New goaltenders for both teams. Patrick Green, goaltender from University of Tennessee, .253 goals against average, .902 save percentage, and in between the pipes for the South, Rocco Bruno out of Florida Atlantic University, .291 goals against, .889 save percentage.
Be sure to stick around at the end of the game as well. We'll have the presentation of the most valuable player jerseys for both North and South teams, and also have the presentation of the championship belt to the team that wins this All-Star Challenge overall, which right now, at least looking at the way the scores are gone, I believe the North have clinched it at this point.
Well, I have them with a 5-point lead. The only way that the South could come away with that is to win this period and have a 4-goal win. So they would need to score 2 more goals than the South.
Yep.
Or than the North, and that would tie. So I don't know what the tie break would be in this situation. Maybe total goals scored.
Yep.
In which case, I believe that would then favor the South, since there was only a 1-goal differential in the first game.
That'd be an interesting question for Commissioner Nell on the points total if it came to that. I'm sure. I don't think they've gone that deep on the tiebreaker metrics.
But then do you figure in the skills competition?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how they would come up with that, but that's why he gets paid the big bucks.
Oh yeah. I think the North, they won the most skills challenges as well heading into this today in 4.
They won 4-2. Yeah.
So that'd probably be the tiebreaker metric on that in terms of the way the games result, but
just don't know. We'll leave that up to him.
Well, first things first, we probably don't have to worry about it. It's just one of those deep tiebreakers that probably won't happen. But at least for now, neither of these teams worrying about that. Trying to win for pride are the South with a 2-goal advantage. So I've taken that line but attributed it to you several times of that 2-goal lead, the most dangerous in hockey.
It absolutely is, as Cooper going to fire one in.
Fired it off. Another follow-up shot. A good opportunity there from Spranklin on the outside of the right post as the South try to keep this defensive stand going.
Interesting to watch how they're playing this. you know, the North essentially setting up and playing a penalty kill, and the South just allowing them. They're playing back and just keeping things in tight in front of the net.
You haven't seen it go outside of the zone for a couple of minutes now, as it finally does. And a breakaway opportunity. Valesi on the wing. Couldn't get the redirect that he wanted. Maybe wanted to swap around to the other side of the goaltender's pads. And a great opportunity there for the South, but couldn't get it to land.
Could have been that he saw Bryce Cooper coming in hard and didn't want any piece of that because he was a big kid. Don't have metrics on him.
This shot goes in and scores. The North get another goal on the board, and that comes off of the stick of Mitchell Spranklin from Tennessee.
First goal against for Rocco Bruno, so the North able to get the lid off of his goal and bring it back within one. Look to see who came away with the assist because he got fed on a pass. We'll see how the officials score that.
I know they count that metric for full games, but Bruno was looking for his second shutout in all essence of having in this All-Star game and almost had it there, but standing in goal, they saved him for the final period as well, the sophomore, and he gets sent out there.
So South Carolina's Carson Scove with a hat trick of assists, picking up his third on the night, as Spranklin credited with that goal. We're just under, or just over the 4-minute mark in to the third period.
15:45 left to go in regulation here. South having a lead to try and get 3 points. Bayshire on the wing had a quick burst there to send it back around. This one over to Andrews. Andrews pokes it around Owens, and Middle Tennessee sends it down. Here's Bailey. Bailey with an opportunity. Might go for the pass. He does for the score. Ogle on the back door.
Boy, nice patient play by Bailey as he came in and had Rocco Bruno right in front of him. Just not a chance for him, but Bailey feeling Brendan Ogle coming in on the far slot, fed him nice, easy one-timer in, and we have a tie hockey game.
Tied at 10 doesn't help on the score lead metric in terms of points overall. The North making a case for themselves to try and just stamp away any hope. Patillo with the radar attempt there and weaving through is going to be Grant Dietz. Back to Cavallero, and sounded like a pad of that was off of Patrick Green.
You have to think that this is be a feather in the cap of J.J. Murray and Drew King to take down the league commissioner.
As Bailey banks it in. Another goal scored by Ryan Bailey.
So Bailey with the assist on the goal before and picking up his 4th point on the night with 2 goals and 2 assists. Not going to get a replay as our director out running around doing something. I'm sure it's something technical.
Yeah, they're handling some tech things down there. I think they're also packing up stuff to try and make it. They're trying to make it easier on the crew as we wrap things up here from Clarksville. High and outside, Banis with the shot. Or I beg your pardon, Banis trying to defend it there as he's got the puck down. Banis trying to weave around Palmer on the back door, just looks for it, gets the puck. Here's Palmer on the backhanded pass. Gulata trying to send it around. It's then in Siciliano with a high lift that goes off the glass. 11-10 lead now for the North over the South. First time they've led in a while in this second All-Star game.
It's the first time they've led, period.
Yep, in this whole game.
Yep. Ethan DeMumbrum picking up his 2nd point on the night with the assist on Bailey's goal. Oh, shot taken. Nice save there by the goaltender Green.
Yeah, Dietz on the shot there for the South. Siciliano possessing it now for the North across the neutral zone. They got a 4-on-2 opportunity inside. Gulata will let it there, try to get it to Palmer, and great defensive work. Siciliano got a stick on it. Dietz tried to get a breakaway opportunity again past Reniger as Dietz will lift it up.
Interesting. That could have been called as an icing.
Yep.
And they let it go, but it was not intentional.
Another 3-on-2 opportunity. The second time that the South have been down a player, and this time it gets swallowed by Bruno.
Can't imagine these guys are getting that tired that they're not coming back that hard. You just, of course, the game. It's just it is for pride, but there's nothing on it after this, other than maybe coming home with a belt that says that that you're a part of the winning team. But it's just surprising to see him kind of slowing it down a little bit.
Marshall on the right wing, trying to go through for a shot. Marshall on the backhand, could not get it through, went on the backside of the net. 11-10 with 13 minutes left in regulation. This will go back in between the circles. Chance passed off. Isles, no back to Siciliano. Siciliano with the lead on the shot. It gets gloved in by Bruno.
That was a wicked shot fired on by number 34, Tyler Isles of the University of Tennessee Ice Balls, but a great save by Rocco Bruno. Seems to have settled down just a little bit here in this third period.
12:38, and now the clock's starting again. And my guess is that, especially with reducing the intermission, that hit off of the pipe as this goes into the mesh. My guess is that with the intermissions being shortened and the time winding down, they're trying to make sure they honor their rented ice time that's left here for this All-Star Challenge. Probably rented it from a certain amount of time in between each of these days as they're winding time down.
Crazy to think that would be an issue, because I've never known a hockey weekend to go according to schedule.
No, of course not.
But ice time ain't cheap, and if Ford Ice is going to make them pay a little bit more, I get it.
You recall that all too well in Coral Springs, as that's offsides a couple weeks ago when we were in Coral Springs in the championship game, the 45-plus minute delay with the Zamboni breaking. We were on call for that one. Same equipment that we're using here. We had to haul all of that within 20 minutes to get it over to the other side and just man it out with one camera left for that championship.
That was truly an amazing feat that everybody banded together, and
Yep.
we were able to get everything over and back on the air by the time they started the remainder of that game. That was absolutely crazy. I've never called a game from center ice like we did, where we
Yep.
had to hunch over. It was crazy.
That 5-foot scaffolding.
Yeah.
When I think both of us are 6 foot or have about the same amount of height reach. But
I fortunately was able to stand outside of the scaffolding, so I didn't have to hunch over at least.
and Atrante trying to slice at it. We got about 11 and a half left to go in regulation.
I also was right next to the South Florida bench with a big gap. Oh, goodness, and Tyler Isles throws one right over the shoulder of Rocco Bruno to give the North a 12-10 lead. But I was right next to the bench with a big gap in the ice, and the smell was almost unbearable. So while you were hunched over, I was gagging. It's going to be all right.
12-0 now as Isles banks it in. Frazier trying to switch it over to Daly. Gets swapped around as the South try to make it back in here. Chance there, Danny Griffin. This goes back, trying to keep it inside of the blue line. This gets lifted up. Chance on the right wing, trying to go for the pass to Banis. He'll try to go in for a lift shot, and Bruno keeps it out. And Atrante from distance, and Bruno gets it into his glove.
Isles with goal number 12, getting the assist from UT, Connor Frazier, and also from UT, number 43, Bryce Cooper. So as we approach the halfway mark, the North with that uncomfortable 2-goal lead that the South saw disappear in the first half of this period. See if they can protect or if the South will rise again. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it.
We're getting to that point with the references. Now I see that glove almost went to Chloe Rigdon, our camera. Now I see why they have the mesh all around here.
Yeah.
Because at moments like that.
Well, you know, when you're standing up here and you're elevated above glass level, as much as you hate to have the net obscuring your view, it is kind of nice to not have to worry about that.
Wasn't going with too high a speed, though, but some of these, we've seen that with the skills challenge yesterday on the hardest shot. Like, some of these guys have rockets. Here's a potential rocket trying to go through on the shot. Good save as the Souths player in Sullivan could not bank it through. And another shot fires high and wide. Griffin.
You talked about hardest shot. That was impressive to watch Anthony Bannis and David Israel going at it. Anthony Bannis winding up with a 91-mile-an-hour shot, and Israel coming in and just squeaking it out for the win with a 92-mile-an-hour shot. There's a lot of pros that can't hit a shot that hard.
Yeah. Back in the neutral zone, Spranklin.
I was just going to say, Bannis and Israel, very tall guys, and so they have the advantage of – ooh, great stick save there by Bruno. They have the advantage of height and leverage.
And a great shot from Manis there, too, as Riggins will take this from the blue line. Under 9 minutes left to go as this gets swapped over. Flaherty was trying to go for a one-timer in the circle. Flaherty outside. Scove will just look on as South try to clear it out here, and they do. O'Connell trying to get this back past Scove. O'Connell weaving it around several defenders. O'Connell trying to go for a shot and ends up just trying to get it on net there as it's sticked away there by Patrick Green. And he'll cover it up, will Patrick Green. And that'll bring us to under 8.5.
Great play there by Patrick Green to recognize what was developing in front of him. He had some blue jerseys closing in on him, able to put a glove over the puck and freeze it.
Reminder to stick around. We got the MVP jersey presentations. Eleanor Rodhouse will interview the MVPs at the end. We got the belt being presented to the victorious team. We'll wrap things up here from Clarksville. As we still got a close game here, 2-goal lead for the North. Once they got up to the 11-10 mark, that was their first lead of the game. Usually has been all South throughout this game, and the North trying to kick into a higher gear and release all elements of doubt on which team would win the overall All-Star Challenge. Back over Flaherty, loses the puck. It's surrounded by several blue jerseyed players. Basher on the right wing with the let. Israel just opted to let it back there. Didn't have an outlet to pass to. Bailey has got a chance on a breakaway. Bailey with a 2-on-1 will opt to go for the shot. Goes too high. DeMumbrum from the blue line will dump it in. Chance Riggins looking for a chance here, and he was hoping Cowart would maybe deflect it back into his own net.
Two great defensive plays by Cowart as he able to force Bailey to take the shot, taking away the outlet pass on the first attempt, and then the second attempt just, again, able to deflect the puck away. Nice work by him.
Mainly this gets lifted up. Back over. The possession gets. It's trying to send it in. Cowart got a deflection off of it.
Having an all-star shift here.
Back over Israel. Trying to look for Basher. Basher will just stare at it.
You kind of see the chemistry between Israel and Basher. Both boys playing for Florida Atlantic University.
Cavallero couldn't get it around several defenders there as Ogle will possess, and the North will keep it on their own side.
Big shift change. Now it becomes a time where you just 5 minutes left. You want to preserve this. All you got to do is keep it within 6 goals in the next 5 minutes. So just kill time. I think it's exactly what Coach Murray and King have in store.
O'Connell, whistle blown.
High stick as Cucci tapped it at the blue line, and O'Connell played it. Puck will come to face-off dot right in front of the broadcast booth.
Face-off in the neutral zone near the Hiller logo.
Happy you'll be or your service is free.
Not a sponsor, although we wish they were. As this will go back along the boards, Bailey. Just over 5 minutes left to go in regulation. Bounce along, a quick rush from Bailey. Got it past the defender. Bailey with a 2-on-1 with a shot. Goes high in behind the net.
Boy, tried to thread the needle going high left there, and a great effort by him as that scoring opportunity was entirely Drew Bailey.
Siciliano to back up on the pass to Mumbrum. Trying to dump it in front. A good opportunity. Banis couldn't make it through. Actually, I beg your pardon. That was Ogle in front. As he passes it back to Mumbrum, didn't have the angle. To Mumbrum, still in possession, keeping it inside of the blue line, gets sent back out. Here's Dietz. Dietz with the 2-on-1. Dietz will fire it off, goes high. Chance here for the North again. They got numbers on a 4-on-2. Patillo looking and from the circle, try to get a shot off. Got a stick contact, did one of the defenders for the South. Back over Cavallero. In the area, Siciliano with the let. Banis with the shot, high and wide.
See teammates working there as Palmer passes it back over for Siciliano. Dropped it to Banis, who takes the shot.
This will go back around. Siciliano in the area, lifts it across the glass. Patillo, the man to his other side. Shot goes for the follow-up. Bruno trying to slam the door shut and did a couple of times, and finally shuts the play down.
Boy, Rocco Bruno having a much rockier, no pun intended, but a much rockier period this game, but absolutely all over the place and showed his athleticism on that stop there as he never gave up on it. Plenty of opportunities for that puck to have been driven home. Bruno says, I don't think so, and they'll take a face-off.
Penetrante across the blue line. Reniger fighting for it. He gets the puck. Reniger tried to pass it off to Siciliano, and he'll pursue. Pass that he allowed to get intercepted. Dump inside, almost to Penetrante in the back door. Cowart from the blue line will switch it. Left side going for the shot. It goes off of several defenders there. Here's Palmer. Almost had true possession of the puck there as it gets stolen away. About 3 minutes left to go in regulation. A 12-10 lead for the North in favor of the South. Israel with the pass back. Cowart. Penetrante in the middle for the shot. It gets gloved. Easily saved by Patrick Green.
Talk about a 12-10 lead. Shows a lot of pluck for the North. The South came out firing on all cylinders, putting up 6 goals. The North only potting 2. And second period, North leads 6-4, but they have come back in this third and have explained why they're dominant, putting up a 4-0 lead, and they're in the third period.
Cowart passed it back, trying to weave through traffic on the shot, hit off of the glass. This goes back to the blue line. And a chance the North trying to clear it out. The South keeping it in as this goes on a pass attempt. Another great opportunity set up there for Michael Wohl, but couldn't make it in.
Michael Wohl having a great day. 4 points, 3 goals, and an assist.
Fontaine inside. Ogle Reniger. Trying to reset for the North, deal it up. Siciliano, just good stick defensive work there by the player from Tampa. That was Trace Cowart to prevent the breakaway. As now the South possess it back in their own zone, bounce along the boards. And this gets picked up initially by Valesi and swiped away by Isles from Tennessee. Miles tried to get it over to his teammate in Cooper, but Siciliano picks it up. Siciliano trying to pass it in front. Good chance opportunity there, but couldn't finish it. Frazier. Valesi. Valesi over Fontaine on the shot, and another save. Trying to follow through on another opportunity. Good crashing of the net there by Sullivan, but shut down by Green. Here's Gallon Daly. Daly on the workaround. Dump inside a shot that goes off the pad of Bruno. Here's Daly swiping it again. Under 60 seconds left to go in this third. Cooper. Daly. Here's Frazier. North trying to just possess it in their own side, and you wonder if they clear the zone as this gets picked up by Bruno. You wonder if they will pull the goaltender at this point. Which coaching says you should, but you wonder if with it being the way it is and because of an all-star game. We saw it happen in the men's game on Friday night as well.
Yeah.
So,
Point, at this point, I think things pretty well figured out that the North has it under control. So I don't know that it would make sense for Commissioner Kyle Nell to make that decision to pull his goaltender.
yeah, it doesn't look like Bruno is heading out anyway, so they'll just try to maybe get a goal here at the end and let things be, as this will take us down to the final 10 seconds. Well, the South was leading the majority of the time in this competition and could not get it done, could not shut down the door against the North, as 12-10 on the scoreboard. North win it against the South in Game 2, and overall on the point side, the North are your champions.
Looked like a final points total of 13 for the North and 4 for the South. So kind of a dominant weekend for the North, both on the women's side and the men's side. But congratulations go to every participant in this being recognized as the best of the best in College Hockey South. And if you ask me, College Hockey South, the best conference in AAU, coming away with the D1, D2, and D3 championships, and I believe the women's championship.
They did not. That was Syracuse.
No, Syracuse. Okay, my bad.
Yeah, Tampa was in the championship game at least,
right,
so there was a chance at that, and a lot of great competition down there in Jacksonville. The clean sweep of the men's divisions and 1, 2, 3 for the AAU scene, and a lot of great hockey this weekend here in Clarksville. The final handshake for the CHS season in 2024-2025 in the academic year. And they'll turn a leaf for a new season that'll come around starting as early as September. Now, if you ask any of the teammates or the coaches, their season starts pretty much now with all the workouts and everything. But at least in terms of the official seasons, they'll start as early as September, and a lot of exciting times. New teams coming into the CHS, new players coming in, and you've also got a lot of new rinks as well for several teams that have been built. We were at Aikens Ford Arena in Georgia for mainly the venue for the Athens Rock Lobsters, but hosted the Division I women's tournaments for CHS. A lot of exciting times around CHS.
Oh, it's a great time to be a college hockey fan in the South. 20 years ago, people would have laughed at you if you sat there and talked about how great hockey is becoming in the South. And, now the College Hockey South leading AAU dominating AAU in championships. They're growing. There are over 50 teams in College Hockey South right now between all divisions. And one of the greatest things, I think, is the fact that they have 9 women's teams going to participate next year. That's huge, if you ask me.
All right, who's going to get the MVP? The great question for the South. Michael Wool, the forward sophomore from Florida Southern College. Great to see a Division II player get that honor as well.
Boy, and a great day that he had, like we talked about, 3 goals, a hat trick, and an assist today. And he had several points, I believe, on Friday. I don't have those numbers sitting in front of me, but certainly a earned victory.
University of Georgia, Ryan Bailey.
Boy, no surprise by Ryan Bailey winning the All-Stars for the North. Ryan Bailey with 2 goals, 2 assists today, had 3 goals, I think maybe 4 goals and an assist or 2 on Friday night. So a great weekend for both of those young men.
Yeah, Bailey, fantastic performance. The junior from Sugar Hill on the year had 22 goals.
The North All-Star.
Managed to add on several there as the North All-Stars will claim the reflective belt. All their names are going to be etched on that as well as part of their prize, as Eleanor Rodhouse will get a chance to talk with both of them in a few moments. You see the gliding work of the camera there on the ice.
And the CHS All-Star Weekend. Please.
They get to celebrate this great moment.
What a great weekend for these guys, you know, just the camaraderie. It's so fun to watch them out there playing with each other and smiling and patting each other after a stop, and you know, the respect that they have for these young men as they for each other as they compete hard against each other this year, but recognize the greatness and recognize that in the end, hockey is just a great big fraternity, and doesn't matter who you play for. If you play the sport, you're considered a brother.
Very much the case for all of these players on the ice. Same with the North and the South.
You know, seeing the picture, I'm seeing the play that Kyle Nell had for this, because as the coach and the commissioner, he gets to be in the championship picture either way, you know.
Though I know if you asked him about it, he would say it's not about him, and he'd just say, oh, yeah, it's pretty cool on that, because you talk to him or pretty much anybody at the CHS level, they do. It's all a focus on the players, focus on making sure.
And you're 100% right. It is not about Kyle Nell. He is one of the most selfless advocates for hockey in the South, does a fantastic job, and you know, and I think he makes just a little scratch from being a part of that, but it is absolutely not worth what he gets paid, the amount of work that he puts into it. So it's a great deal for College Hockey South that they were able to secure his services 2 years ago, and you've just seen the league grow by leaps and bounds with him at the helm of it.
I'm sure if you ask him, it's hard to believe that it's been 2 years since he had that honor, and a lot of great times as well for the respective teams as they'll get an interview with both the players in a moment. Rodhouse trying to chase him down.
I do want to take a moment and just thank the Ford Ice Center for being wonderful hosts here at the Ford Ice Center. What a wonderful facility this is. Just a couple of years old. We got to play against Vanderbilt over on the main rink when they put it in, and the Preds came over and played an exhibition game. But the main ice over here on the side, real nice having the windows open, get a lot of natural light in here, a lot of great sound. It's just a great place to come play hockey. So appreciate them being great hosts.
Yeah, you could tell them that it's a great place to play hockey. You tell any of these players, they'll say the same thing to you as well. And who better to tell us about it than Michael Wool and Ryan Bailey standing by with Eleanor Rodhouse. Ellie?
This tournament and Clarksville this weekend.
Well, I don't know. It's been pretty fun. Just like the season's over and we got not much to do. So like getting this ice time after the end of the season is pretty fun.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I thought we were going to get washed into the river yesterday because of the storms, but no, it's been a blast. Honestly surprised everyone's alive today after last night, but it's been super fun.
That's great to hear. Thank you both so much, and congratulations.
Well, unfortunately, none of us got washed into the river on the broadcast crew. They certainly didn't either. All frozen on the court here in Clarksville. Any last thoughts before we take this home, Brady?
What a great season it's been, and even if you go from your team that finished at the bottom of the league all the way up to these teams that win championships and such, it's just an honor and a privilege to be a part of this great game. And again, appreciate College Hockey South providing an outlet for these young men to participate in college hockey, represent their school, and continue their hockey playing days as well as their education.
Well, I know James has given us our screen time that we didn't ask for. Great job by Will Morrow there. Even great job by our crew as well with getting all of this done. Not as long of hours as we've had on the other tournaments in Athens and the other places, but been a lot of fun calling games with you, Brady, over the last couple months, and should be a lot of fun. For Brady Palmer, Eleanor Rodhouse, our producer James Shannon, director Eli Cornett, all the hardworking men and women that have made this weekend run so smoothly. I'm Spencer Topset saying so long from Clarksville. 2025 CHS All-Star Challenge has concluded.